ball knocked loose. White dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor.
They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Got it. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
Wayne Spooney, first to the floor here with my guy, Jake Eisenberg, who is back from a short-ish hiatus. Jake, how's it going, buddy? How you doing?
Good. It's good to be back. Been catching Celtics games in a variety of places, whether it's a log cabin in the mountains or at 2 a.m. in the morning after a music festival. I'm making sure to watch all the games. I'm catching them at weird times, but I'm excited to be back talking some Celtics. It's been a weird experience, this team after the past 4 years. But how are you, man? Good to see you. How's things?
Pretty standard for me. Nothing crazy going on over here. Unlike you, I've been watching the games in my basement cubbyhole that I'm currently in and do
Jealous.
Like 75% of my life is spent in this like 8x8 cube here I have in the basement, but I wouldn't have it any other way either. I imagine there's some high level analysis, emphasis on high, going on at 2 a.m. after a music festival, watching the Celtics. Like, you're just like, damn, these Pelicans, man. Where's Zion again?
Yeah, I thought Josh Minot was Jason Tatum for a moment there.
yeah, he looked it.
Yeah. But no, good to be back. And tomorrow, playback, Cavs games, instant reactions, late night. So we'll be back to, I guess, not regular scheduled programming, but our favorite type of programming when we get the full slate of content tomorrow, which will be fun. But the Celtics won a basketball game. They got off the schneid. I guess actually bigger question first in general. How are you going watching the team? Because like from a tanking, which team are you going for? How are you managing the actual watching experience?
Yeah, so I tweeted this out. In game, I am incapable of like rooting against them. I don't know. I can't do it. Like if it's crunch time. So long term, I'm on Team Tank at this point. Like the more I think about it, the more it's like, to me, it's like we either need to trade Jaylen or get a high pick this year if we truly want to like vault ourselves back into like true contention. We'll talk about that more later in the show, but mid game, I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to be like, yes, they missed a shot. But post game, after they lose, which they've done quite a few times this year, I'm like at peace with it essentially. But I enjoyed the Pelicans game. I'll be honest, I'm kind of struggling with it in some ways. Like I'm a little bit all over the place and I'm just like, this all kind of sucks, dude. Like
yeah,
it all just kind of sucks that like, this is where we're at.
Yeah. The Jason Tatum Achilles second apron enforced end of contention is terrible. Like I much more like as much as I kind of talked myself into like an emotional reset, I much prefer the day in, day out, dying and living with every possession, living and dying with every Jason Tatum pull up three. Like those feelings aren't going to be there, I don't think, this season. Like they did the wins and the losses just meant so much over the past 4 seasons because this is why we watch and I'm still really enjoying the Ugo experience and the Josh Minot experience. Like it's really fun to experience a different type of team. But as far as like true deep emotional investment to the point where, they're, going back to like the 2023 run with the Miami Heat series where I needed to go swimming in the freezing cold ocean in order to cleanse myself of going down 0-2 to the Miami Heat at home. Like those sorts of feelings, the highs and the lows are just not there. Very even keeled throughout. Like if that Edgecombe game happened in a normal year, I would still be furious. in a really bad place. But I'm like, I can't kind of helped us out. And again, VJ Edgecombe, top 3 pick. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, imagine that. So yeah, on the Pels game, Celtics, it ended up being a blowout. The Pels actually kept it fairly close until the fourth quarter, 122-90. Look, this version of the Pelicans is just not very good when Zion's not playing. They have no creation. Like Fears, I was not the biggest Fears guy in the draft, but obviously he projects at least as a guy who can like run pick and rolls and generate shots. He's not that player yet. And then it's Jordan. It's a whole lot of Jordan Poole. It is entirely too much Jordan Poole for a team that wants to be taken relatively seriously. And like Trey Murphy just looks like, oh man, like I gotta play with Jordan
Not again.
Poole. Yeah, can somebody get Brandon Ingram back on the phone?
Yeah.
Like this is crazy. They're a dreadful team, but look, the Celtics completely took care of business. The Pels cut it, fairly close at times, even in the third quarter, but it always kind of felt like the Celtics were in control.
Yeah.
But to me, the biggest takeaway, Mr. plus 42, 15-9, a steal and a block. Josh Minot, he looked like straight out of the gates. He just was like flying around. He looked awesome. And like, I did a really long breakdown over the summer about Minot. My biggest concern with him, other than the shooting, was his on-ball defense. And I feel like he's been locked in on ball, like hounding people full court. So Minot was awesome. Team got a very nice win.
Dude, first play of the game was alley-oop to Minot, if I'm not mistaken. Like off the rip. He had multiple breakaway dunks off of like steals and turnovers, one of which he dunked and then almost broke his neck. And popped up immediately and almost forced another turnover. Like he's good, man. And I think Brad nailed that. He's not a perfect player, but having a legit 6'9", 7-foot wingspan dude who can like cut, he's really smart. I love the way that he plays out of the corner. They're going to get that down, I think, later as the season goes along. Like he's cutting, and I think they're so used to hitting that corner pass. And there's just been a few where he's already cut and he's got the pass and he's kind of like reached back. When like a receiver's going across the field, you got to reach back and, get all that yak yards. It's kind of like that where he's having to catch it from behind. But he's so athletic that he's still finishing a ton of those. And because he's so explosive, he's able to go over the top, these nice little easy floaters, reverse layups, or just, man, he can double pump dunk anything. Yeah. It's wild. He's truly in the upper echelon as far as like the length athleticism combo goes. And great job, Brad Stevens, getting a team option on that guy. Like I'm already ready to say that this guy is like a good 9th, 10th man, like good backup wing, like a lineup of Derek, Jalen, Jason, Tatum, Cato, let's just say, because that's the only big man we have right now. That's fun. That's a really good lineup. Ton of length, ton of size. I think he fits really nicely with the Jays.
Yeah, man. And like we just have not had a guy with this level of athleticism, like outside of young Jaylen Brown, essentially. And it feels like so long, man. And you're right, like the speed at which he gets into the air almost like surprises me, where he'll catch the ball and I'm just like, there's no way he's going to dunk this. And then he's like dunking it as I'm finishing that thought. So it's awesome. And the fact that he can move his feet in that frame he's just going to be a really good defensive player this year. Like, I think he's just tapping in. He has not played. Like, he's never had a real role in the NBA. So he's only going to figure out defense more. He's only going to get better at it. Like, he's a gambler, and I don't love gamblers defensively. So I think he's going to have to tone that down some. Like, there were some possessions where he gambled, and like it was Kata on Fears, and luckily like the Pelicans just couldn't do anything. But against good teams, you cannot gamble and force Kata to pick up the point guard at like the point of attack and not get punished. So he's going to have to cut that shit out. But other than that, like, he has been really awesome, and like he's just good enough at shooting the corner three that it keeps the defense honest, right? And that's all he needs, because you're right, like the cutting is awesome, and like the fact that he's a lob threat, like we've never had a corner shooter lob threat in. I mean, those guys are rare. There's just not a lot of wings who are that bouncy that can also shoot. So kind of a unique profile of a player, and he's just been really, really great. So
I feel like we made this comp in the offseason, like the idealized version of him would be Derek Jones Jr. And Derek Jones Jr. has turned into a pretty solid corner three shooter, but
oh yeah,
he's been good on. He's been like, he was a starter on the Mavericks finals team, and when you project all the way into like the toughest moments, you can, like, the shooting probably means that Minot's not going to be able to play a ton of minutes, but that's okay. It's to find a guy that you're confident being like a legit guy in the regular season that can be elevated and contribute to a good net rating and just help you stack up wins. That's a huge win. Team option on the second year, which gives you the option to maybe renegotiate after the offseason, or wait after the 2 years and do something like that, like an early bird rights extension. I love it. What's next? Who you could go good or bad after yesterday? There was still some downs yesterday.
Okay, so some downs.
I don't have to go down. We can stick positive. Okay. We did win the game.
We did win the game. Let's stick positive. Okay, Kata, I feel like the box score, the 11 rebounds is great. 7 of them offensive, which is just an absurd number. Like we played the one worst defensive rebounding team than us.
Yeah, I know.
So, which was ideal. The 4 blocks, like where Kata is defensively. I said one of the things I'm excited to watch this season is Kata's pick and roll defense. He looks really good, man, defensively. I was watching the second half closely because I went to bed before the second half ended last night. I'm old. What do you want from me, people? And like he had some possessions where he's in drop, cutting off cutters like behind him, and then getting back to like the ball handler and the roll man. And I'm just like, who is this guy? Look, offensively, not his best night. Only 3 of 7, 3 of 8 rather, not super efficient. Didn't get to the line, but I was just really impressed with him defensively. And again, part of that's like you're playing the Pelicans, and there's not a lot of like 5-alarm fires when you're playing the Pelicans without Zion. But like, who cares, man? Like this guy was not in the NBA like 2.5 years ago, and now he's like throwing on awesome defensive performances. Like I was just super impressed with him on that end.
Yeah, but you're playing the Pelicans and you played well. Like that was something that we weren't 100% sure would happen last season. Yeah, corralling the pick and roll of Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen going to be different than dealing with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley tomorrow. That's going to be a different experience for Neemias Queta. But I think we found a guy that is a good rotational big man. Like, finding the next big man is just a mystery that Brad Stevens is going to have to solve at some point. Unless Queta continues to really, really, really improve, that's something that doesn't exist on this roster. And even at the top of the draft is not something that you see right now. Hopefully you can find it with the MLE. But Queta, man, I thought he was really able to, enforce his size and physicality in the game yesterday. The 4 blocks, I don't even think that I think maybe 1 or 2 of the offensive rebounds were his own, but I think a lot of it was just generating more possessions off misses from the rest of the team. So if he can be a beast on the boards, some nights help, but you've nailed it on the drop coverage, and that's something that comes with reps. It's like you just need to be able to feel like the spacing, like how deep do I need to be? Do I come up? Because something that he did once yesterday, but he's doing less of, is like when like the ball handler comes over the screen and he's supposed to be in drop. He kind of is in drop, but then ends up just kind of switching, and then it leads to a bit of a scramble behind him. I forget who he did it to yesterday, where Scal pointed out on the broadcast, but he's doing that less. It's like he's going off script less, and he's staying within the defensive infrastructure more, possession to possession. there's clear progress happening. And even offensively with the screening, the stuff that we talked about on underrated plays,
Yeah.
I thought that was like one of the, we had a great screen, short roll, pass possession. We missed the shot, but I was like, whoa, there it is. That's the moment. And so I'm like, okay, we're moving.
Yeah, no, it's great. So we don't want to spend too much time on, what is a 1 of 82 type game,
Sure.
Tuesday night or Monday night Pelicans game. So a couple quick hitters.
Yeah.
Jalen, really, I like
Solid.
Jalen Brown letting the game come to him. I think that's a very, very positive development for Jalen Brown. Pritchard finally started to make some shots. Simons was really good. Hauser, super solid. Hauser just drives winning. All of our lineups with him are just killing people. Shireman, I thought not a great performance, but he played hard, and that was what we were really criticizing him for. So, and hey, Luka Garza made some shots, looked great in Garbo time. Like, I gotta give him his flowers. So, any of those you want to hit real quick, Jake?
I thought Baylor actually played well. I know that it wasn't perfect, but I was like, okay, got 6 rebounds. He made a shot. I thought the decision making was good. I saw him turn down a LaMelo type shot and move the ball. I was like, okay, we're making moves. Gaza hitting shots. I'm not really willing to say that he's a good shooter yet, but yesterday was a good start. It's like, I want to see him get opportunities on the catch and shoot. Like, I want them to try and find him as if he's Horford and Porzingis, so we can find out if he can shoot. Because if he's a legit shooter, then at least he's probably an NBA player if he can just do that. I think the offensive game is there. The defense is a disaster. It's just so bad. Joe made a sub in the third quarter. He brought in Garza, Simons, Baylor, and Hauser. And I was like,
oh no.
And the Pelicans immediately went on a run, and then Joe called the timeout. I was like, the second unit, especially if you're not going to play Ugo, it was a sieve. Whole group was a sieve. It was crazy. And so that's going to be something that I think happens. Like, the starting unit is actually fine and good and able to compete most nights, but there's these weird combinations of players that just cannot get stops and cannot get rebounds. And that is one of them. And I think Joe probably needs to learn you can't put those 4. And Hauser's like good, and I don't want to put him in the same category as those guys defensively with rebounding wise, but you cannot put all 4 of those guys out there at the same time. That's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, Hauser is awesome if he's your 5th best defensive player. He is not good at being your best defensive player. So, yeah, no, man, that was Joe's just, he's tinkering. He's just looking at stuff. He's just seeing what works and what doesn't. So, we're going to see some goofy changes and some lineups. But before we move on, Blamo asks, what is the theory on the Minot, Ugo, DNP starter situation? I think Jake and we've agreed on this since the beginning of the season. Joe's just going to give these dudes opportunities and see what they do. And I think Ugo, he was not great. He was awesome to start, I felt like, against the Pistons, and the defense was very good on Cade, but he was nothing offensively. He gave us 0. I think he was 0 for 2. Minot got a DNP after he didn't look great. Then Ugo looked like okay-ish to good. Now it's Minot's turn again, and he looked awesome. So we'll see. I think we'll have a little more clarity on Joe's thinking with these guys. Now that Minot's played well, and we'll see if he rides with him. But I think we're just going to see a lot of rotation. Those are the 2 guys who are kind of in the driver's seat for that wing spot that's up for grabs. And I think they'll both continue to get these big opportunities. I would rather they rotate 25, 30 minute a night games than both get 12. I just think it's a lot more productive for development to be like, you're playing tonight and don't worry about making mistakes, because otherwise they're just looking over their shoulder all night.
Yeah, I love that. As much as I was disappointed to see that Ugo didn't get any run, except for Baylor, he seems to be getting the tokens 7 to 12 minutes. How many did he play last night? 14, I guess, with a few extra garbage minute time.
That feels like his role in the NBA. Ugo and Minot have a lot higher ceiling than him.
Yeah. And I actually think that does say what Joe thinks about the rotation. He's like, I think that Ugo and Minot have the chance to take that legit first wing off the bench spot to play 20 plus minutes a night. And I think eventually it's going to shake out where maybe those minutes even go down more for Baylor. And it becomes like whoever wins the battle between Ugo, who knows, maybe Walsh gets tomorrow's shot. Maybe Walsh is the guy that gets that next opportunity. And then Baylor ends up being like kind of out of the rotation. We'll see. Because he hasn't done anything with his minutes really. Like while I was just complimentary of him, he didn't really do anything with those minutes. Like he needs to do more. Like Minot was obviously plus even Ugo in the Pistons game. I get what you're saying. He faded, but at least he was like he's just more impactful, either good or bad. Honestly,
yeah, and like he was great on Cade. Like he was really, really good on Cade, and that alone is basically more than we've seen from Baylor in his entire career, outside of the one game I was at last year when he went crazy against Brooklyn. But yeah, so all right, anything more on the Pelicans game, or do you want to hit Prize Picks, Jake?
No, let's say Prize Picks.
All right.
Alrighty, Prize Picks time. It's Drake May season. He's up to third in MVP. Honestly, if the season ended today, I actually think Drake May would win the MVP. Like truly insane for Patriots fans and for the Patriots. And so we're going to keep riding it against the Cleveland defense. Had like 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 50 rushing yards. Doesn't seem to matter who he's playing at the moment. We can go more on Booty yards, even though he's only getting a few targets. I think Diggs is probably due for another game coming up here. So I feel comfortable going more on catches. And don't forget the Prize Picks offers injury reboots. So if one of your players leaves the game in the first half, it doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. So if Scatterboo rips his ankle in half, which was really sad to see, one of the big vibesmen of the NFL year, you don't have to worry. You don't lose your bet, even though if Scatterboo loses his leg. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today, use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's good to be right.
Yeah, as a Cam Scatterboo fantasy guy, very tough day for me. Very difficult day.
I know you have been carrying the handcuff to Scatterboo, and I went because now I'm coming last in the fantasy league. I was like, I get to pick up Tracy, but no, Spoonie's been carrying the golden gem that is the Scatterboo handcuff. I just assumed you just had forgotten to drop him, but no, you're holding on.
No. Scatterboo. I was like, Scatterboo leads with his head every time he runs the ball, so I better keep the guy who backs him up because he's going to get concussed. But it was much worse than that. It's crazy Drake May's playing this well with that receiving crop too. I mean, it's nuts how good he is. So that's sweet. All right. We're going to do, I think, some overreactions and maybe just kind of which I think will probably just lead to sort of a general discussion of where the Celtics are and kind of the tanking debate that I think is raging through Celtics Twitter and Reddit right now. So Jake, why don't you hit it? Let's just like kind of your first overreaction so far, or underreaction, or what's bad, what's good, where are you at?
I knew the rebounding would be bad. It's even worse than I thought.
Yeah.
And like when you conceptualize a bottom, now they're actually 9th overall defensively. But that's purely because of the Pelicans game. Like everything is such small.
It was
sample
17th
right
going into the Pels. So
yeah, and even despite that, they're still 29th in defensive rebounding percentage, which these are the teams that were the bottom 8 in defensive rebounding percentage last season. The Brooklyn Nets, the Toronto Raptors, Dallas Mavericks, the Spurs, who lost Wemby for half the season, the Wizards, the Blazers, the Pelicans, and the Sixers, all of which picked in the top 10, except for the Spurs, because they kind of racked up wins from earlier in the season. All top 10 picks. Like, it is just such a cascading effect to have the rebounding be this bad. And I don't think there's a solve for it.
No, there's definitely not a solve on the current roster. Like, I just don't know what you can do. Stan Van said it. I might have been the Pistons game where he's like, The Celtics went from one of the biggest teams in the NBA to one of the smallest teams in the NBA. And we're effectively starting 3 guards. I mean, depending on, Jalen's a big guard, but, when
Yeah.
we had a lot of lineups that had Jaylen Brown at the 2 the last couple of years. Arguably some of our very best lineups were, him, Hauser, and Tatum. And then KP, which is just huge, 2 through 5. And now this year, it's like Garza is not a big deal. Like, he's not small, but he's like 6'9", 6'10". And then it's like Pritchard, Derek, and Hauser and Minot. Yeah, or Simons, Pritchard and White, and Minot and Luka Garza. And it's like, we just don't stand a chance on the defensive glass. And I understand why Joe made it such an emphasis. I have this
nice
is not
try.
Gonna get, yeah. Like, hey, appreciate the effort. Like, that's a good coach, identifying your weaknesses and trying to do something about it. There's just nothing you can do. Like, you can say, like, box out, but look at some of these rebounds. It's just dudes reaching over and tipping the ball. And it's like, oh, cool. There's nothing you can do about that.
There was one rebound in the Pistons game where Asar Thompson jumped over Derek White, and is like, Derek White did everything he could to get that rebound. And there's nothing. This is the NBA, dude, and this is the sport of basketball. And why it's unfortunate that my 5'7" self chose this sport as my favorite sport. You score points in the sky, and the balls bounce down from the sky. Being tall helps so much in this sport.
Yeah,
like the balls are literally dropping from the sky. So being 6'9", 6'10" with incredible athleticism like Asar Thompson, he's winning that battle over Derek White. That's just 9 times out of 10. That's just how it's going to go. Like, maybe it's not going to be 29th bad, but I don't like this is the thing. Like, all the things I thought were going to be bad have been bad, but this one in particular has been even worse than I thought, and it's just such an Achilles heel. Like, because it's just, we talk about the margins, and we have talked about the margins for the past 2 seasons. Missoula's been like hammering it home, whether it's rebounding, turnovers, fouling, 3-point rate. Rebounding is one of the things that goes back to like the very beginning of time, and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain swinging games and dominating the league because of their insane rebounding talent. If you're going to be at the bottom of the league, you're just starting at a huge disadvantage every time, because offensive rebounding is like the possessions that come off of that. It's just so easy to score. I know I don't need to explain this to anybody that's listening to this podcast. Offensive rebounds equal high percentage points. But when you're 29th, you're giving up a shitload of high percentage points.
Yeah, that is for damn sure. And it doesn't matter how good your first shot defense is. I think I looked before the Pels game. We were 5th in first shot half court defense. That's
nice.
Awesome. We were 17th in overall defense, and it is almost exclusively because of the rebounding, which again is not solvable unless we make a trade or make a deal. So, okay, I see a lot of people talking about the new Celtics play style, how we're playing differently. Do you know where we rank in pace?
Last, isn't it?
29th, second to last. Like, we're not playing offense really all that differently. Maybe there's a little more man movement, but that's partially just because, like, you don't have Jason Tatum to just run a pick and roll and generate an open look for somebody in a catch and shoot or get downhill. We're not playing faster. In fact, we're playing slower than we did last year. So I really don't, to me, that is not true, frankly, and the stats kind of bear that out. And I've seen a lot of people like, Joe wants to play fast, they're gonna run, they're gonna go. Well, when is that gonna happen? And I think, like, look, everyone knocks Tatum for being a deliberate player and like slowing the pace down. 100%. Probably the thing maybe the only thing about his game I don't totally love. Jalen is guilty of that too, and that's okay. But Simons too, man.
Oh,
he slows it way the hell down. And Pritchard as well, like, as like the primary playmaker, he's just not quite like, you got to be really damn good to push the pace and like get downhill and like TJ McConnell at every possession. That's hard. And like, I just don't think Pritchard's quite up to it, man. Like, he's carrying a huge burden on both ends. And like, and you're going to ask him to play like Tyrese Halliburton. Like, I just don't think he's really up for that. And we're playing really slow.
It's a good point from Eric Weiss in the chat here. Harder to play fast when you can't defensive rebound either. Like if you're pulling the ball out of the basket. Yeah, also sounds good to play fast. Other teams are trying to get back. You know, like that's the thing. And so you need the best transition players in the league. Giannis, Jalen, and Jalen's talked about how he straight up admitted that he's dealing with this hamstring thing and that he's trying to limit his explosiveness. And so maybe we can talk about that, but like,
yeah.
He's not trying to explode down in Giannis fashion in transition, or at least hasn't had the opportunities to. Like, he's our best transition player, and if he's not doing that, then who? Like, TJ McConnell is one of one, and it sounds. I would love for you to start emulating that, but no one no one does that. No one, like, he is one of one, and it sounds good to push it, and then you push it, the other team gets back. It's like, well, I'm not going to just force up a shot because we're supposed to be playing fast.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make sense to just force up an attempt at the rim, because then that leads to a transition opportunity back the other way. So I think they're learning that, like, it sounds good to play fast, but you still need guys to be able to break down the defense, even in semi-transition and transition. Like, guys in the NBA are fucking good. Like, 2-on-1s are hard to execute in the NBA. Dudes like Derek White and Josh Minot are out there every single night, getting back and stopping you. So unless you have Jalen flying downhill, it's like it's easier said than done.
Yeah, like 2-on-1 against Asar Thompson. Good luck.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, that's probably not going anywhere. And you know, I would almost go one step further, is like, the best versions of this team have played slow and have like boa constrictor defense, where it's like just the bend, don't break, keep everything in front of you, and rebound the ball. And we just can't rebound, so we have to compensate for it defensively by trying to force turnovers, which I also hate. But but like, yeah, that's such a great point. Like, it's fucking hard to play fast, and like, we kind of don't really have the horses right now. And if we do have the horses, our one horse is like gonna trot across the entire country, but he's gonna trot at his own pace, and it's not gonna be. He'll get you there. He'll get you there safe and sound, and you'll feel very comfortable the whole way. But it's not gonna be very fast.
Yep. Fouling you just brought up, and like the increased emphasis on trying to force turnovers. They're actually 6th in forcing turnovers, which is good, but they're 25th in foul rate. And again, like, a lot of we're talking small sample size, but I would have loved to see them try this high like variance forcing turnovers system when you had Drew Holiday still on the team. In particular, Drew Holiday, like, and Jason Tatum. Honestly, I'd love to see it with Tatum trying to get in passing lanes more often and trying to get trapping guys with his length, as opposed to trying to do it with Anthony Simons and Peyton Pritchard, who tries really hard, but like, not Jason Tatum, not a hot take, not Drew Holiday, because they would be fouling less if it was Jason and Drew, and they'd be forcing more turnovers if it was Jason and Drew. So this version of the team, I get it. Like, you're kind of trying to inject margin into the team,
Totally.
But fouling and sending guys to the free throw line is a death sentence. And I know Oklahoma City flew in the face of this. I just think that's such a big outlier. They were so fucking good at forcing turnovers and so fucking good at finishing in transition. When Jalen Williams and Caruso are the guys that are operating in transition a lot of the time, Dort, like, I mean, Jalen Williams, J-Dub, dude, when he's just like stonewalling guys and forcing turnover, and Cason Wallace, like,
even Chet,
it's
man, like,
it's a
Chet
different
can handle the ball. Yeah.
Different. It's different. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think that the personnel is here to really make this a hyper viable solution. There's no hyper viable solution, I don't think.
I was
So
just gonna say, but
I
the
get
reverse
trying it.
also is true. Yeah, yeah. And Eric Weiss in the chat. I'd reserve judgment until the 20-game mark. Whole new style with guys unfamiliar with their role and each other. Yes, totally agree. We're gonna talk. We're gonna do shows.
Doing a
This is the
podcast,
information.
maybe.
Yeah, this is the information we have to talk about at this point. And if things change and it looks better in 20 games, like we'll talk about that then.
Like, how dumb those guys were 16 games ago.
Yeah. So yeah, man, the fouling is really bad. It's really tough, and it's kind of indicative of not being able to play very good defense. I mean, here are the teams that are fouling more than us. Pacers look pretty bad. Look a lot like look like a worse version of us. The Pistons, who are just like really physical, cagey. That's kind of just how that's part of their identity. Brooklyn and Phoenix. So like 3 of the 4 worst teams in the NBA. Yeah, and then it's us, and then the Raptors, who are also try-hard assholes who always foul a ton. So like that, like if you're giving guys easy buckets on putbacks and giving people free throws, it's going to be really, really hard to have a good defense. And like right now, I think the first shot defense looks a lot better than it actually is, because we, like there's some like the Pels couldn't make a shot last night, man. Like I think they shot like 8 of 35 from 3 or something like that. At one point they were 8 of 31, and I'm not sure where they ended. So like I have some concern that teams are going to start 9 of 36 for 25%. So that's certainly doing some work on that first shot defense.
Yeah. And I know a lot, like after the Pistons game, it felt like there was a lot of like, the Celtics could easily be 2-1. And I get it. But at the same time, the Pistons shot 26% from 3. The Celtics shot 33% from 3. That's a pretty big swing. The Pistons lost the turnover battle by 4. Jaylen Brown had 41 points on like 65% true shooting, and they lost. I was like, whoa, to me. I know the Sixers are kind of on fire right now, so that doesn't look like as bad of a loss. The Knicks one, they never really were in. I didn't feel like, but yeah, man, that defensive number feels inflated by just like 2 bad shooting nights from teams that you played, and obviously that's can be true on the other side. Can maybe like the offense has been worse than I thought it would be as well. Like I thought the defense would be really bad. That's been true. It looks a little bit better because teams are missing shots against us. Offensively, I thought that the playmaking would be a little bit better. We can not generate the drive and kick game. It is so jarring to me to watch and not see like the swings. Like I can't think of like a single swing like Derek White wide open. He has to bounce in the corner and hit a 3. Like it is so different. The catch and shoot numbers are broken on NBA.com today, so I can't pull them perfectly, but you helped me pull like the spot up numbers. And so spot up numbers. So, when the ball swung to the guy in the corner for either a catch and shoot or a drive and kick or a drive and finish opportunity, the percentage of the possessions. Last year, the Celtics were 8th in like frequency, and they were 1st in points per possession. In 23-24, 18th, 1st again in points per possession. This year, they're 25th in spot up frequency and the 59th percentile. And to me, it's the frequency is so obviously down. The catch and shoot numbers coming into the Pelicans game were 19 catch and shoot threes versus 30 in the previous season. That just matches the eye test to me. And I kind of expected that, but man, they just missed Jason. And that's a Jason Tatum stat. It's kind of a Kristaps and Horford stat, but it's a Jason Tatum stat. Kristaps barely played last year. Jason Tatum generating all the advantages. That's what he did. And they just missed that every possession. He's just not there.
Yeah, man. Like Tatum's percentage of assists really leaned hard to made threes too. And that, again, just more evidence of him generating open spot up threes. Healthy offense. spot ups and shots at the rim. We have one of the fourth worst average distance and 2-point shots. So our 2-point shots are way further away on average than other teams, right? So we're just not like generating a ton of looks at the rim, and we're not generating a ton of spot ups. Like, frankly, the offense would look pretty brutal without that. If Jalen goes for like 26 and we get blown out by Detroit, like these numbers would be really, really bad, right? Because he's driving a lot of positive offense just from that game alone when the sample sizes are that small. So like right now, 17th per cleaning the glass in offense, and that's coming off like an awesome offensive performance against this shitty Pelicans team. Yeah, like Simons was very good against the Pelicans. My concern with him is that like I expected him to be able to do like primary creation when Jalen and Derek were out there, and whew,
he can't dribble.
He can't dribble against pressure at all. And I'm definitely seeing why Portland was like, we're cool with Drew. Yeah, let's just bring Drew. We'll take Drew for a couple of years. So like his offensive game is just a lot less diverse than I was expecting. Like he can get and generate a pull-up, and he can make pull-ups, and he is a knockdown spot-up guy. But good Lord, man, he just does not read the floor at all when he gets downhill. And he has a hard time getting downhill because the handle is pretty loose for what he is.
Drew Holiday looks awesome too, by the way.
He looks so healthy. He looks so springy. I was watching their game the other day.
We talked about this. He got a hamstring injury in the Knicks series. And obviously, like, he's older, and that, like, is maybe more susceptible. But, yeah, man, we lost some really good fucking players. We lost some fucking awesome players.
Luke looks awesome.
Oh, my God, dude. That Spurs-Pelicans game when Zion was healthy, Wemby fouls out. Luke Cornett closes the game. He's, like, guarding Zion, and he's, like, perfect for that team. You're playing with him without Zion. He's making the second unit so much better. Just the screening and the passing and the decision making, again with the swing and the generating of the spot ups, like, yeah.
How many spot ups did Luke generate in the short roll, man?
Yeah,
and like part of that's because Tatum gets trapped, and Luke is an awesome passer, and like we just don't have a ball handler that you're gonna trap on the pick and roll. So, real quick before we go on, I'm gonna do prize picks quickly. We can like deal with our emotions while I'm doing my prize or my game time. I'm sorry, Reed. So it is about to be college basketball season. November 3rd, the season kicks off, and I've been perusing some tickets for my hometown WVU Mountaineers. That's right, AJ Dybansa, Darren Peterson, they're coming to Morgantown this year. I think I'm going to go to the Kansas game with Peterson. The tickets are quite expensive, but the best place to get the best deal for this Kansas WVU game is obviously Game Time. It's super easy to get tickets. You just hop on the app, search for the game or the team you're looking for, and you're shown all the available tickets and all the best deals right on your phone. Their curated deals make it even easier to find the best seats at the best prices, and the last-minute deals get you tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. But maybe my favorite feature is the seat view. It shows you exactly what it looks like from any seat before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Game Time's awesome. Use it. I use it anytime I'm going to a game. I use Game Time. It's great. Definitely check it out. Okay.
Yeah. RJ's point, Jake, am I investing too heavily in small sample and guys that are unfamiliar with each other? I think we've mentioned it a couple of times. We've seen 4 games. We're overreacting. But it is a bit of confirmation bias, I think. Some of the stuff that we kind of expected is happening. And a lot of teams are dealing with new players. Like the Sixers team is new, a lot of teams, a lot of guys, a lot of turnover in the NBA. So a lot of teams are going to experience, better chemistry as the season goes along as well. It's not a something specific just to the Celtics. But Anthony Simons, on that point you said about the restricted area shots. He's taken 49 field goal attempts. Do you want to guess how many of them have come in the restricted area?
Ah, man. 15?
3.
3. Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's
Yeah.
not a lot.
I've seen highlights of
Wow.
him getting downhill. Where are those?
I know, man.
Yeah.
It's not like he was in a good offensive ecosystem in Portland either. Like that is, I mean, of course, when he played with Dame, that's a little different. But good lord, man, I don't get it. Like I just do not get it. He's so explosive, and it's just like it goes nowhere.
Yeah. Maybe he is uncomfortable right now, and maybe he will work his way
Yeah.
into being on a new team. That I think is very, very possible because, yeah, we all watched a ton of Anthony Simons tape in the offseason. Like very explosive, dunking on people. We haven't had the chance to. I thought we are gonna. I set the over under at like 39.5 times that Drew Carter was going to mention that Anthony Simons was in the won the dunk contest. We're going way under on that because he's never going to get anywhere near the rim to dunk on anybody. So, by the way, Simon, again, small sample size, yada, yada, 192 minutes. Simon's on the court, negative 7.35. Net rating off the court, plus 19.12. Elite basketball team with Anthony Simons off the court so far. Brad Stevens knew what he was doing. Maybe that's the segue. He brought in Anthony Simons instead of Drew Holiday. And he brought in Luka Garza instead of Al Horford. So we're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah, most likely. And yeah, real quick, one lineup thing. Minot and Kada together plus 39. Obviously, small sample sizes, but those two I looked really good together last night. You know, we talked about Kada when we were talking about the Pelicans game, but I think he just looks really, really good. So I'm happy for him. But yeah, man. So on that point, we're getting killed when Simons is out there. He's going to play a lot this year, which brings us to like the tanking conversation. And like, I understand that a lot of people do not want to lean into the tank. They would like to win as many games as possible. And to that, I say, I get it, but I do not think it's the best thing for this team long term.
My question is to people, did you enjoy the last 2 seasons of the Boston Celtics being one of the most talented teams in NBA history, really? That 23-24 team was straight up an historically dominant team and then backed it up with a 61-win title defense. Another historic milestone. How did they get Drew Holiday? How did they get Kristaps Porzingis? Like, flipping guys, Brogdon with picks. We are now in the second apron era where it's impossible to do that due to the supermax contracts of Jalen and Jason and Derek. Like there are other avenues to getting back there, maybe by moving Jalen for other pieces and finding talent with more shrewd trades like Brad Stevens just did. The most obvious way to be getting in someone that can match the impact of a Drew Holiday really and Al Horford are the two guys that made that 23-24 team.
Yeah.
That team. The only way to get guys like that good are at the top of the draft. Otherwise, you're trading out Derek White or Jalen Brown to bring in other versions of them. The only way to do that is to draft guys. Yes, you can technically hit them at pick 18, 19, 20. It's very statistically obvious that drafting superstars happens in the top 3, top 5, top 1 of the NBA draft. VJ Edgecombe looks like a straight up superstar right now. And the Sixers didn't have a ton of choice. They would have probably ended up close to the top of the draft anyway, but they went right into the tank and they got VJ Edgecombe, and he's going to save them from being the Phoenix Suns. That is the reason you do this. And there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees you end up with one of these guys that's that good, but it's so much more likely that you get one of those guys. And the higher you pick, the more likely the player is better.
Yeah, and I'll say like kind of the other argument against it is like tanking can work, but it also does not work a lot. Okay, sure. So does like trading for guys. And like sometimes your star player blows out his Achilles heel. It's not about being like, well, here are the times it didn't work, so we should never do that. It's about maximizing the potential positive outcomes, right? You want to make sure you put yourself in a position where your percentage of winning a championship is as high as possible. And to me, that's adding, a top, even if it's a top 10 pick. Like, I'm not saying like shut Jalen down and shut Derek White down, but I am saying let's let Ugo explore the studio space. Like, give that man the ball sometimes. Like, let's see what happens and play, let's see what Luka Garza's got. I suspect I know the answer there, but and just kind of like Jalen should not be playing through this hamstring. Like, absolutely not. There is zero upside to him playing through that, because even in a historically bad draft, we are not the Wizards. We are not looking for a guy that can be Jason Tatum. We are looking for a guy that can complement Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And that level of player is available in every single draft, in every single top 5. 2 years ago, the draft 2 years ago, everyone said historically bad draft. How good would Zachary Richichet be on this team? Alex Sarr has 28, 11, and 5 tonight. Like, I mean, he's back, baby. Yeah, he's back. He's probably not going to be a star, but he would be damn good 5th starter with a lot of potential.
Does Stephen Castle interest anybody? Literally, like Drew Holiday 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. And like Con Knippel, I think he was the 4th pick this year. I mean, Brandon Miller was the 2nd pick. Like, yeah, they go to these teams and they're not quite good enough to turn them into title contenders, but we would be adding them to a core that can be a title contender. So to me, it's an entirely different conversation. We don't need to find Wemby. We just need to find nice. Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Or Dylan Harper, who looks fucking amazing too. We just need to find like a true blue, like starting caliber guy that most importantly is on a rookie contract, because we are still pushed up against those aprons and do not have a lot of wiggle room. It'll be better when we let Simons walk, but there's a talent out the door without replacing it. So like, you got to kind of flip the paradigm here and figure out a way to kind of change your asset stash. And even if we don't take the pick, that is a blue chip. That's a blue chip thing you can add to, like, maybe you attach it to Sam Hauser and go get somebody, or Sam Hauser and Simons if we look really bad midseason, and be like, hey, bam, interested. So to me, it just makes by far the most sense if we want to make the next title contender for the Celtics.
Yeah, a question from RJ in the chat here. If the C's get the number 3 pick, I love it. Number 3 pick. Would you be okay with them trading down for 2 first-rounders? Not in this draft.
No. Hell no.
Yeah, it's crazy. The 3 guys that everyone talked about have come out and just been fucking awesome, like immediately, and look like stars. And I'm not locked in. I'm just like following everybody else talking about it and seeing the graphics and the highlights and the stats. Even though like the few guys below them, this draft just looks awesome. And that's usually accurate. When we talked about 2 years ago when the draft is bad, like they looked like to be historically bad, they were right as far as star upside and stuff goes. Like Richichet, great role player, maybe like a slight star upside. I could see a Chris Middleton level, ceiling for him. Which holy shit,
awesome,
that would be
on us.
Yeah, dude. Are you kidding me? Like, I would love that. Yeah, like 2 years ago, the Asar and Amen happened to go 4th and 5th in the draft, right? Like, Casey Wallace goes 10th. There's a lot. It's really hard to add high-end talent if you want to keep Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Derek White together, which I think has a ton of validity. Then you need to find a way to add top-end talent. Like, and this team, even if they don't do this, I think will be a contender, but like a contender in the sense that things need to break right. Like the 2022 team, basically. Like the team where if you play really well, things kind of break your way. You can maybe make the finals, but the chances of you actually winning a title, and that team was very close to winning a title.
Yeah.
But you're going to be you got to get a little, like, pretty lucky to win a title. Whereas the 23-24 team, that team was kind of winning no matter what. And I know they caught some breaks along the way, but you saw what they did to the Mavericks in the finals, and it's like no one was stopping this buzzsaw. And that's where I would like to get back to.
Me too.
And this is the best way to do that. We're obviously a long way to go. Like if this team turns it around and starts to look awesome, and again, it's going to be because of the Josh Minotts and the Ugos of the world. But that feels like a big stretch. We covered off the reasons why I don't think that they're going to be able to get up that high. And you're already in this 1-3 hole. You play Cleveland tomorrow. Like, I looked at the schedule. You could be looking at like 8-12 or as bad as like 6-14 pretty easily. This schedule is not easy. And what like Jalen dealing with this hamstring thing, if this was a title season, I'd be so mad. But I guess he wouldn't be doing it if it was a title season because they'd be winning games anyway. But
why
believe
is
he's
he
playing.
playing now? I don't get it.
I mean, I
65
get
games.
I know I get it because they want to make the playoffs and they're operating that way. And so he's like, we need to get wins right now. This is bad. Like if they had lost that Pelicans team yesterday, it would have been dark, real dark.
Yeah.
And they needed to get a win from that perspective. So and Jalen's bald now. Welcome to the club, brother. Feel free to reach out for any emotional support and questions. Yeah, and Jalen wants to make All NBA. You're right about 65 games. There's no doubt about that. He's probably on track to make All NBA right now. I think 20 averaging. It's tough to make All NBA these days. He's like 26, 6 and 3.8 assists to 4 turnovers. He's currently losing the be under 4 turnover per game battle and also losing the assist to turnover being positive battle. But he's scoring like a madman, and I love seeing 3-point shot back as a side note.
Yeah, no, I really I do not get the consternation over how Jaylen Brown is playing. Like he had one bad game. Okay. Other than that, like I really liked how he played against the Pelicans. Other guys had it going and he just stepped aside and kind of did some ball handling and played some defense. Eric, because the season's over, if he misses time. I know. But like, you know, like the upside is like we're not winning the title this year. So like the most important thing is making sure Jaylen Brown doesn't have like recurring hamstring injuries for a long period of time to me. But yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. They want to win. They obviously believe like championship DNA. They could be like a pesky 6 seed and like maybe win a round. And then, hey, what if Tatum comes back? So I get it, but it's just like, man, get healthy, dude. So anyway, I just think like I understand why you would not want to tank. Totally get it. But surely if you are anti-tank, you have to understand why pro tank people want to, right? I mean, like to me, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's the part that's probably more frustrating to me is the people that like are so adamantly against it. It's like I can see the opposite side and be like, yeah, it's culturally, it's a good thing to try and win. And as you said, the championship DNA, these guys have pride. They are talented. If they can push into the 7th and 6th seed, and Tatum does come back, like maybe they can go on some Cinderella run. Like I can see the vision, but I don't think it's like probability outcome wise feels quite low, especially now that after 4 games, some of the things that we have thought coming into the season come to fruition. It's the like when people point to ask the Jazz how that's going, ask the Hornets how that's going, ask the whoever's going. Like, I mean,
I would look pretty good.
I would take like almost all of the players that were taken in the top 5 of the last 5 drafts. Like 80% of them. Even like I'm looking at the 2023 NBA draft. Wembanyama, yeah, sure. Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, Arman Assar, Anthony Black, Bilal Coulibaly, Jarris Walker, Hendricks, Casey Wallace. Even all the way down to get Grady Dick would be helpful. But like, what, 6 of those guys? And what does Coulibaly look like in this system? What does Jarris Walker look like next to Jason Tatum? Like you can go through any of these drafts and 5 out of the 10 picks in the top 10 or 3 of the 5 at the top 5 are really fucking good players. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jarris Walker played real minutes in the playoffs for the Pacers who went to the finals. Like, yeah, he wasn't starting for them, but he played legitimate minutes. So, even if that's the outcome, and I would be pretty disappointed if we get like, the 4th pick and ends up being Jarris Walker, but like that's still a cheap rookie contract for a contributor, and like that's really important for where we're at. So Yeah, unfortunate Ben says we're doing the Warriors second overall pick.
Except for
thing.
one
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, except for the Wiseman pick, unfortunately.
Except for
I
who
feel
they
like
picked. That was the
yeah,
whoopsie.
that was the problem. They probably should have just taken LaMelo. But this draft, like the top 3 feels so totally can't miss. Honestly, the top 2 to me last year felt completely can't miss, and like Cooper's going to be great, and I think Dylan Harper's going to be fucking
He looks
awesome
really good.
too. So, anyway, all right, we should probably wrap it up there, Jake. Yeah, like you said, you'll be on playback tomorrow, probably instant reactions. You're doing late night too.
Yeah, tomorrow we got it all. Playback, instant reactions, and late night. It's gonna be a
I
good
think
time.
Thursday we're gonna try and do
again.
the 3 of us. Yeah, me, you,
Yeah.
and Ben on Thursday. So yeah, come check it out. Keep tuned in. We will be here all week. Thank you everybody for joining us. We are out. Peace.